Welcome to Kickstarter Radio. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy, and today it's a special program where I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the most stupid thing you can do as a board game fan. Now, I'm looking at this just for an example here. Obviously, the Origin Season 2 gaming tables on Kickstarter, and anyway, you can have a look at it. I'm just going to go down here to look at a few examples, but stupid has like three definitions, and one of the sub-definitions of stupid is you are going to do something that harms either yourself or somebody else. And for me, spending $2,000 plus on a table will harm my options for kickstarting games in the future. In fact, if I was to buy a table, I'm going to have to turn away from Kickstarter for almost a year, I'd say, just to make sure that I can budget it, because, and I'm not willing to sacrifice a year away from Kickstarter in case, another amazing game comes along and all that stuff. And I still do believe, as a board gamer, that there is going to be a time when I do my last Kickstarter that I purchase, and it might be once in a blue moon after that, once I get my collection where I need it to be, because it's getting close to where I need almost perfection on Kickstarters now. I'm getting more fussy as I back more games now. Anyway, so these tables, I'll just tell you where I game. If I game here, the table's 2 by 2 meters. It's a square. It fits 8 people comfortably. It was purchased when me and my wife got married. And as I'm a home hobby chef, we used to like inviting people around for guests, before COVID time and all that jazz. And I'm assuming that will return. So the table is massive. In fact, it's a glass table. And we have a leather cover that goes over the top. That kind of drips down the side so it doesn't move. We've got different surfaces that we can put on it, and all that stuff. But regardless of the surface you put on it, you're not playing on the table, are you? You're playing on the board. Or if you've got a neoprene mat, you're playing on the mat. There's this weird thing about you playing on the table. You're not playing on the table. You might be rolling dice on the table, but if you've got somewhere a dice tower or a dice holder, you can throw your dice into something. It's silly. This, it feels better to game on a gaming table, because I've never felt like I needed an enhancement over playing any of my games, actually. And strange as it may seem, a lot of these gaming tables that you'll see, they'll come with chairs and that. And in this picture here, for example, this is a classic dining chair, which is rated for 90 minutes. You sit down on this for 90 minutes and then you'll start to get back pain. That's what they're rated for under health and safety. And this is why most restaurants have these chairs, because they realize they want you out of that restaurant within 2 hours so they can get people on your seat. They've got heads to fill in an evening, and we can't have people with comfy chairs sitting at a dining table for 4 hours. So this is why they're still in fashion, these chairs. So it's not like these gaming chairs are actually selling nice chairs. In fact, the only 24-hour chairs you're going to get are, the plus, office chairs basically that have got a large back and a bit of lumbar support and all that good stuff. So, your dining table and your chairs that you've got now, that's probably fantastic. In fact, the only quibble you're going to have with your setup at home is that you've got a table with such a big table presence. It's like you need more space. But if I go play gaming round at the family house, my mother-in-law's house, they've got a 1.6 by 4 meter table. It's an absolute massive table. And that sits 12 people around it. It's ridiculous. And that's because, my wife is one of 10 children. She comes from a very large Mexican family, and they needed a big family table, right? So that's why that exists there. and it's why we entertain like up to 6 guests at our house because of large family and all that jazz. So yeah, it's kind of strange, these tables, and let's go down. So first of all, it's not really going to give you anything better than what you have. You're just better off just getting a table. And really, if you go into your dining room or where your dining table is, haven't you already bought a table to fit the space? I mean, the reason our table is that big is because 1, we wanted to sit 8, and 2, we wanted it to fit the space. So it fills the room, right? It becomes, the table is like the dominant feature in the room. So yeah, it is strange. And, you know, so technically if I bought one of these, there's no way it's going to replace the dining table. In fact, I'm going to need a new room in the house. And yeah, and if I was getting one of these tables, I'd be buying beautiful office chairs to sit around it so you can game for longer than 90 minutes without getting strain. Yeah. Now, it's funny because there's this kind of feature that people talk about where you can save your game without packing it up and then putting it on top of it. You know, like you can play Gloomhaven, leave it on the table, put the top of it on and play another game, or use it as a main dining table. You know, that's a potential, isn't it? But when are you going to want to leave a game on the table? Like at Christmas, for example, we're doing a massive talisman game that can take up to 6 to 8 hours. That sits on the table and we finish it the next day. There's no problem with that. Or, you know, my favourite play, Fallen Land. If I'm playing solo, I might play a couple of hours and pick it back up the next day, depending on when I start the game and stuff, just because I like to kind of play long on a solo game without my favourite game. But I've got no problem leaving it on the table. But I mean, I've got Gloomhaven, and putting it away and bringing it back out, I have no problem with that. You know, it's like my setup and teardowns is all part of preparing for the evening for me, and I actually enjoy the teardown because it's like relaxing from the intense gameplay that we may have had. They do have certain features, these, for example, you know, the cup holders. You know, you can get coasters with the game you're playing. Art all over them. You know, you can make the actual table presence a lot better. I think having a gaming table takes away from actually pimping the table in the theme of the game you're playing, but hey. So yeah, it's strange because I just don't see the sell. I just don't see the sell. I can't see it. I can't see me giving you anything. I mean, is it because these people have bought you know, they've got a basement in their house, they want to put a table in, and they've got the disposable income to put a gaming table in? Is that it? I mean, for me, it's a case of, where did these things come from? I think they came from, like, maybe the 90s, where the amount of retail games that was coming out in the year was not that many, and even those that were coming out, maybe you only got like 4 or 5 of them because you were pretty, you know, hard to please, question mark, or, you know, you wanted only certain type of genres. So it got to a point where your game board budget was kind of growing, and you eventually had enough money where you felt, you know what, I might get a table when I go to the con this year. I'm getting close to saving that kind of money. But I think now unless you're ignoring Kickstarter, I mean, how's that going to happen again? I don't know. So, one, the stupid thing of getting this would mean I wouldn't have the money to put into Kickstarter games. That's a definite. 2, my dining table, it will never become obsolete. And 3, I don't have room in my house for this. So, there's like big negatives going against it. There's this argument that it says if you get a gaming table, you'll board game more. I don't think so. I don't think I've got an appetite to do more gaming because 2 big board game nights a week. We're not playing like quick games, and if we are picking a quick game, it'll be 2 or 3 of them. So yeah, it's, I don't have that much time to commit because my wife doesn't really play these games, and I think 2 nights is too much maybe, and sometimes we can only do 1 anyway because my wife wants to do stuff, so there's all this stuff. This one's pushing this coffee gaming table. Why would you game on the coffee table? Like, do you realise how this is even worse trying to game on this sofa for health and safety of your back? Anyway. Some tables have places to hold your cards. Well, you can get things to put on your table that hold your cards up, can't you? Card holders and things like this. In fact, when I play a game, I always like to present the box like they've got jaws here. But I don't need to put it in the corner, I can put it right at the end of the table because there's room, and all that stuff. So yeah, if I want to get a table, it would have to be big. I mean, I've got big games. Talisman with the 4-corner expansions and all the cards, and then your players around that. It's huge. It really is big. Yeah. I mean, you get play mats that are bigger than the normal board. It starts to get big, and so yeah, this is why I've got no problem with games that have got a large footprint, because I've got a big table. But I think as soon as you get these tables, you are going to be limited. There is a certain limited size to these tables. Yeah. Now, these game theory tables, these are probably the cheapest tables one can get. So if you are kind of in the mood, you've got the disposable income, but you think you don't want to sink it into something above $2,000, this is actually good, isn't it? I think is it getting this table at around it's around 2,000. 61 by 37. I don't even know what that is. I work in millimeters and centimeters. Listen, you Americans, if NASA are working in millimeters and centimeters, can't you also work in them? Yeah. Anti-slip dining top. I've never had a board slip around on any surface that I've put down. I mean, really? I've never really had a drink spill over. Actually, I've never had that. I've really never had that. Now these mats that fill up the whole table, they look like really, really good, and I appreciate that. But yeah, it's a nice one for tidal blades, right? So yeah, I mean, it can look great like when it looks like that, but it's just too expensive again for what it is. So there you go. It's a 6. You get 6 people around the table, and I basically got this as a square, so I've got 8 people around it. So it's like so yeah, it's a downgrade. Any table I get is a downgrade. So that's the way it is. And when I go board, when we play games, we've not got any board games around it, looking around it. It's like a beautiful dining room, recently redecorated. And because really your attention's down on the table anyway, I'm not in a what's it called? A basement. And maybe it is for these peeps that have just got a basement and, this is what they want to get in, and that's all that. And I know if you're a role player, some tables come with electrical sockets so you can plug in your apps and stuff, but, you just get an extension cable, can't you? I mean, everything that they're offering as a solution, you can do it yourself much cheaper. Absolutely much cheaper. Again, look, you're sacrificing on chairs. Again, every table we look at, you sacrifice. I mean, look at this is plastic furniture in this guy's office here. It's like if you really want to upgrade your gaming table, you just buy office chairs for everybody and make them play on a nice, comfy office chair. Invest in chairs, not the table. That's where you're going to get the biggest win. Your experience will be greater if you all sat down on beautiful office chairs, not these dining chairs. That is where your money should go. And I think that's common sense, because you're not upgrading the health of the person at the table with this, because you've paid so much on the table, you're going to skimp on the chairs. You don't want to skimp on the chairs. The chair is the one thing that needs fixing, and certainly these office chairs need to be avoided. Like 90 minutes you get health and safety. 90 minutes, yeah. In Europe, they're awful they are. Well, what do I say awful? They're actually very good with the health and safety when it comes to working in an office and working at a computer. So yeah, my bottom line is that the table's just too expensive, doesn't actually get better than what I have at the minute. And if you really want to improve everybody's experience at the table, you simply invest in really good ergonomic office chairs for the table. That will make the experience so much better for everybody. And because you just won't get tired sitting down at these tables. And a dining chair will tire your body out and will give you backache. You know, if you've ever broken your office chair and had to use a dining chair to work, you'll soon find out how uncomfortable it is working long hours on it. And it's, like I said, rated to 90 minutes. These things date, the architecture of these chairs dates back 14th century or something ridiculous, these high back ones. And yeah, the ergonomics of a chair only got looked at in the 60s, right, with the Stumpf guy in America. So yeah, we've come a long way by that. So if you really want to update your experience with furniture, you simply invest in better chairs, and the table you have now, you stick with it. That's it. Don't be conned by these gaming tables. If there's anything you need to adjust or improve, it's the chairs, peeps. And that's my bottom line. But, you know, let me know in the comments. Have you bought a table? Do you regret it? I don't know. Let me know in your comments what you think. If you have one, or if you don't have one, do you have any extra things you want to tell people about why you haven't got one? And all that good stuff. And has anyone had a gaming table where accidents have happened? And how have they performed and all that jazz? But yeah, I mean, the dining table we have now, 7 years old, it's probably going to be another 20, 30 years solid, you know. So the dining tables break, you know, I don't think so. So I mean, at the end of the day, this is meant for a consumer. That's not me, I guess. Someone who's literally got like a large disposable income, and maybe these people aren't even looking at Origin tables. They're going for the more expensive Geek and Sundry type of $4,000 plus, and there you go. It's a niche market for board gamers, and don't feel bad if you've not got one of these tables. At the end of the day, keep buying games. Keep on Kickstarter and make sure you've always got available funds so you can jump on a project when it launches. That's the ticket, right? Else you just turn your back on Kickstarter and board gaming and wait until you get budget again. That's what I do. So gotta balance it out like that. So there we go, peeps. Gaming tables. The most stupid thing you can have as a board gamer is one of these. And if you really want to upgrade the experience, just buy office chairs for everybody. Simple as that. Well, on that bombshell, peeps, thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and think about subscribing if you like Kickstarter, live Kickstarter board games, and any special programs we seem to pump out. Do click the home button on our page and you'll find all our special programs that we have done. Maybe one of them will interest you. Also, we do have a broadcast which is specially made for fans of board gaming that especially are bored of retail, where we talk about all the live Kickstarter board games we covered in the week whilst playing loads of new music, and talk about media, and we also answer any questions if you've got any. Just simply put in the chat, in the comments of this video, hashtag question or hashtag broadcast, which is the name of the podcast, and we'll make sure that that question gets on the next show. Well, thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. This has been Kickstarter Radio 102.4. You take care, stay safe, and bye for now.